All right. How's it going out there on the Facebook and YouTube? This is Darryl McGriff, and I'm coming at you tonight with another episode of Military Brat Chronicles. Now, when I first started this, I was just talking about my experiences at some of the different places that my dad was stationed. So I was just telling different experiences at different places. But I got tired of listening to myself talk, and so I said, you know something? Let me go find out what some other military brats are thinking. What's on their mind? What's going on? And then I went to Bad Crush Knock Facebook page where I went to high school for 3 years, and a whole lot of people are out there. So I said, hey man, let me talk to all these BKers, those Bearcats, and see what's going on. So first up tonight, I have a BKer from 83, 84, and 85. Ladies and gentlemen, let me get my hand claps together here. All right. Put your hands together for Mr. Johnny Logan. Uh-oh. There he is right there.
Hey, what's happening, everybody?
All right, sir. So, Mr. Johnny Logan, let's do this. We're going just to break the ice a little bit. I'm just going to pick 5 random questions to ask you, and let's just see how we go with that. You ready?
All right, cool.
All right. First of all, what is your favorite TV show?
My favorite TV show? God, right now, it's probably American Horror Story.
Okay. And your favorite hobby or pastime?
Favorite hobby or pastime? Probably just driving my car right now since it's with the COVID thing. Can't really do too many things, but mainly I like to go to live shows. I work for a lot of local metal bands. I have for probably since 1999. So I do a lot of shows, load in, load out, stage production, that type of thing. But it's been a little more few and far between. So when that's not going on, I have a 2014 Challenger. I like to go out and just get on some country roads and open it up.
Okay, I got you. And what's your favorite sports team?
Denver Broncos, born in Denver, man.
All right, we ain't gonna mention that game right there, you know.
I know. I seen you were checking the Cowboys schedule yesterday.
All right, and what would be your favorite decade to live in?
I don't know. I really enjoyed the 80s, man. I thought the 80s were pretty cool, man. I had a lot of fun over in Germany, and, I had a lot of good times when I got back to, and even before I went to Germany. So I'd say, probably 80s.
Okay. All right. So now let's get this party started. So when we look at this now, was your dad already in the military when you were born?
So he adopted me when I was 2. So I believe he joined right around that same time. From what I understand, I think he joined right around 1970. I would have been 2 years old. So yeah. Okay. So he wasn't already active duty when he adopted me. He became active duty right after he adopted me and married my mom.
All right, cool. So then just lead me up to how many places were your guys stationed before you got to BK?
All right, let me think. Okay, so he started at Fort Hood. So he was in Fort Hood, Texas. I know he went to Korea for a little bit in the early 70s. And then from there, we went to Bremerhaven. Oh, no, we went to Kaiserslautern first. Then we ended up in Bremerhaven, and then Fort Sill, Oklahoma. And then he went back to Germany, and we stayed in Canyon City because my mom didn't want to go back to Germany because we had just got back from being there for 6 years. So we stayed in Canyon City for a couple of years while he went back. Then we went to Virginia, and after Virginia, I ended up going to BK.
Okay. So how old were you when you went to BK?
Let me see. How old was I? I was maybe about 14, 15-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, so end of my sophomore year or mid-sophomore year.
All Okay. All right. So, like I said, I was there in the '70s. So, in the '80s, well, let me ask you this: who were the teachers that you had that you remember then?
Let me see. I had Mr. Palmer. He was a art teacher. I
Was
had
he
him for a couple
he
of
wasn't
different
like a
things.
little short, bald-headed guy with glasses, was he?
No, he had brown hair and a mustache. I don't think he wore glasses.
Okay,
He was
so
a kind of a younger fella.
okay, yeah, totally different. All right, who else?
Yeah. So I remember him. Who else do I remember? We had a teacher named Mrs. Sanders. I remember her because she was from Louisiana and she was really cute. I remember that. She was a newer teacher though. That year that I started, I think she started there then. Um, and I remember Dr. Sasser. I think he was math. I think. And who else did I have over there? I'm trying to think.
So, did you play any sports or anything?
Excuse me.
Did you play any sports?
I didn't. Yeah, I was too busy out, doing my thing on the economy and stuff, going to shows, you know, partying with some of my German buddies. I tried to fire up a little band when we were there and that type of thing,
Okay,
So
okay, all right, well, cool. So, let me ask you that. So, um, well, like I said, you have been to Germany a couple of times before, so it wasn't really something new to you. So,
yeah, I spent my childhood there, on my younger years.
mhm. So then how? So you didn't even hang out at the DYA or anything either?
I sometimes I did. That was where I ended up. Started at the DYA when I first got back there when I was in BK. That was the first place I went and ran into some people. But after that, I ran into. It was funny because I ran into one of my best friends from Virginia at the rec center the third day I was there. I was down checking out some instruments and that type of thing on the Rose Barracks, and one of my best friends from Virginia, Derek, come in, just seeing the back of my head and my curly mop. He knew exactly what it was. He was like, "Oh no," he was like, "Ain't nobody got a head of hair like that except for." I turned around. He was like, "Oh, Johnny, what's up, man?" So, so he kind of paved the way for me. It was I didn't start school for about roughly a week when we got there, and so it was kind of cool for me because since I had ran into him my third day there, by the time I walked into school, everybody knew my name. I was already in his circle and all that stuff, so I didn't really have to seek out any friends. He already had that hooked up for me, so
So,
that worked out good for me.
so now, did you guys stay on post or did you stayed in the economy?
No, we stayed on in the housing area up on the hill there.
Oh, y'all was up on the hill.
Yeah, we were up on the hill. Yeah, the housing area up there. It was
Okay,
it was separate from the barracks. I think the barracks didn't have any housing. The housing was kind of separate when I was there. I don't know if it was like that when you were there or not.
right. So okay, so then if you were up on the hill, so because okay, so like when I lived there, so when you going up the hill right before the last street to turn into the American, because if you keep going, then you go into the German part again.
Yeah,
So up on the hill, you take that left, and that was that last street was where the last set of the housing was, and then there was some that kind of right there on the hill, and then some right there in front of it, and then there was like the that area where like there was a playground and all that kind of stuff, and then it
yeah,
dropped into the next set of housing. Then after that, you run into the DYA and all that kind of stuff down there.
yeah. See, I lived up there by the DYA and the elementary school. I lived in that neighborhood up there.
All
There
right, so
was the
you
DYA, and then a little bit north of the DYA was the elementary school. I lived a couple of blocks up from the elementary school on Karl Schurzstrasse, and then down on all the way on the end by. Do you remember Roma's Pizzeria? Or
yeah,
Roma?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I lived in that very last building, in that very last stairwell right by Roma's.
Okay, so yeah, you was all the way around, like going
Yeah.
around the
Let me turn
corner,
my
get ready to
phone off.
make that bend. Okay, I got you. I got you. Okay,
Sorry, my
cool,
phone
cool.
started ringing. I turned it off.
So how did so what were you involved in BK with the American kids before you actually went out and started trying to do bands and hang with the Germans and stuff?
We just did a lot of partying and stuff, going out and checking out the city. I got a couple tattoos, that type of thing. I hung out with mainly Germans because when I first got there, I hung out with a couple of the kids from school, but my buddy that I told you about that I ran into, he was his whole family and everything was from BK, and he's actually a German citizen. So a lot of the people he introduced me to were people on the economy and stuff. So I hung on the economy a little more than some of the other kids did, I think.
Oh, okay, okay. Now I know a big thing. So how did you? So did you play in the band? You actually started a band and all that kind of good stuff.
We never really got it fully off the ground. I mean, we wrote some songs, did some practicing and things like that. But yeah, myself and my friend Derek were the front men. We did the singing, and then we had a couple of German buddies. One on the drums. He's the one that I told you owns the bakery there, Lucas Bakery. Lookie, he goes by Lookie, but his name is Martin. But he owns and runs that bakery now. But he was our drummer, and then one of his best friends, this dude named Clemens Grice, he played guitar. And that's how we started out, and then them two and myself and Derek. And then we started training this other homeboy of mine on how to play bass and that type of thing later on. But yeah, that was pretty much the gist of how things got started there as far as that went.
Okay. So how at that time? How did you? I know every time you turn around in Germany, man, there was some kind of carnival or fest going on. So how did you enjoy
Mm-hmm.
those?
Yeah, I think I ended up at most or all of them.
So now, did they still do the ones that they used to bring on Rose Barracks over there by where the football field was, and they just had a set up there sometime? Did they do that then?
Oh yeah, yeah. They had like a carnival back there sometimes. I've been to that one, and then I remember the Yarmart every year. I think in August when they did the Feta the young wine. It was kind of like a thick orange juice style, but they had the whole festival that went with it and everything, and the carnival and all that stuff. So we used to do that one every year. I remember the one on Rose Barracks. They still had that one. It was like a carnival and such. And Foshing,
Yep.
the big parade with all the outrageous
Yeah.
floats and
Yeah.
everybody dressed up like Halloween and
Right.
the hot wine and the candy and all
Right.
that good stuff. That was one of my favorites. I think that was in February, right?
Right. 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 Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know. When I was in high school, I was in the band, so they asked the American band, from the high school to come be a part of it. So so we was marching in the Flushing parade and everything. So it was pretty cool.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was all good. So did you have a American girlfriend or a German girlfriend?
Yes.
Or
I
both? Huh?
had an American girlfriend for a little while, but before I left, I had a German girlfriend. That's the
Mm,
girl I was telling you that I'm still in touch with. We're actually still really good friends to today.
mhm.
We still talk pretty regularly,
Okay. So at that
just
age,
through Messenger and such.
how was that having a German girlfriend?
Oh, she was cool as hell, man. I really liked her a lot. I thought she was a lot more chill than the American chicks. I thought, but she was really straight edge, and I was like an animal, we were kind of like a total opposites. Like I was a wild kid, man. I drank a lot and I was smoking a lot of hash and going to all the big concerts and all that craziness, and yeah, so
And
dressed all wild and all that stuff,
and
and
all
yeah,
this was
so but
and all
and
this was at what age?
about 15. Yeah, and she was all straight edge. She played sports and all that stuff. She did she was on the volleyball team and she was on the handball team and she was I can't remember what all sports. Oh, she did soccer. So
Yeah,
so
yeah,
she but yeah,
that was totally opposites attract, huh?
we were totally opposites attract. Yeah, she didn't really drink much or anything like that, and I drank all the time, and so yeah, we were complete opposites. But
Yeah,
but we still get along to today, all the way up to today. That's funny.
yeah. So now, how was the football and basketball teams back then? Were they winning or anything? Or what?
I had a couple of buddies that played on the football team. I think they did pretty well for the most part. I don't think they did any championships or anything like that, but they did all right. They held their own for sure.
That's cool.
And the basketball, I never really kept up with too much.
Right. Okay. All right. So you just too busy partying and drinking and having fun at 15 years
Yeah,
old.
and going to shows and such.
So let me ask you this: what concerts did you see when you was over there?
Oh God, I did. Went to the Monsters of Rock. Let me see the Deep Purple Open Air Fest. I saw Saxon. I saw Iron Maiden. I saw Motley Crue. I saw Twisted Sister. I saw Scorpions. I saw Joan Jett. I saw.
Oh, man, you saw everybody then.
Yeah, I went to pretty much every show that came. I'm still that way too. It's just that's my biggest addiction. It's is, live music. I probably, before the pandemic, I was going to 20 major events a year and promoting, 50 to 100 of them a year myself on my own.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of shows you getting into there, man. Good.
Yeah, I've
Good.
been to thousands and thousands of concerts, man. I mean, whether I'm promoting them, working at them, or just going to enjoy them, that's my go-to. That's what I do. I love live music. So
So, where were the concerts being held? Like in Frankfurt and K Town, or where were they all being held?
yeah, a lot of them in Frankfurt. I saw one in Karlsruhe, Nuremberg, and Mainz, Frankfurt. Where else did I see shows at? I think that those are the main places that I saw a lot of shows at.
Yeah.
It's weird because I mean, like when I saw Saxon, I saw them like at a high school in the gymnasium. It was weird. I mean, they packed some people in there. It was funny. I was like, this is it. I was looking around when that was the first show I went to when I was over there in high school. And when I showed up, I was like, we're definitely in the wrong place, until we started seeing people and stuff. And then it was like, oh, well, maybe this is it. And we went in, and sure enough, man, it was like in a high school gym.
So I'm sure you rode a lot of the trains getting to the concerts and stuff. Huh?
What was that?
I said, did you ride a lot of the trains, or did your buddies have a car?
Yes. I rode
Both.
trains sometimes, and then a couple of my buddies had cars, and then also my parents were actually really cool. So I mean, at some shows, like they would take me in, like if I couldn't establish a ride, they'd take me and drop me off, me and a friend or something, and then they would go do something in town and come back and pick us up when we were done and bring us home. So
Yeah.
yeah, they were super cool in that aspect and stuff. So they actually took me to a lot of shows, and they actually went to a lot of those shows with me too. Probably almost half of them they just attended with me.
Oh, well, that's cool. No wonder you had so much fun over there. You ain't do nothing but party.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Yeah, I was a pretty wild kid, man.
So what did you remember about the high school, as far as going to the high school, and what do you remember about those times over there?
The high school was actually really cool. I got along with everybody there. I thought it was really weird how they had like the middle school roped into it. Like it wasn't like eighth or seventh or eighth grade through 12th grade, but they had us separated. But it was just weird. We were all on the same campus. That was the first school I went to where they actually had a smoking area, and I did smoke cigarettes back then, so I thought that was super hip. And then of course, we skip school every once in a while, go down to the Schwimmbad, and hang out and stuff. So I mean, that was pretty hip. Or we go disappear up on Kuberg Hill, or
Okay,
something.
okay,
I'm
yeah,
sure you guys skipped every once in a while, went up Kuberg, go down to
yeah,
the
yeah.
Schwimmbad.
Only time we skipped was doing the so-called senior skip day thing. So
Oh, really?
um,
Okay.
yeah, we because I played sports, so I was always there. So I played the
Oh, so
football,
yeah,
basketball,
you had to
ran track. So
maintain
I
a
was
certain grade
always
point average and all that.
yeah. So I was always in school. So, but yeah. So skipping. So you just a skipper all the way around. So man, what kind of grades were you getting then?
I actually carried a AB average.
Mm,
Yeah,
all right. Well, shoot, you can't.
yeah.
Hey,
Everybody used to trip on it. I was I don't know. I like to learn. So like when I'm in school, like I used to always sit in front. I always wore my sunglasses, refused to take them off, and I always took notes, no matter we had to take notes or not. That's how I learned. I just have a notebook and I just write down as much anything I thought was pertinent when the teacher was speaking. And some of the teachers hated me. They're like, you don't have to take notes. I'd be like, yeah, I know. You're gonna put your notebook away? No. Well, you don't have to take. I know that I'd take them anyways. But that's how I learned, and that's how I kept a good average. I always showed up, I always took notes, and then at test time I would like read all my notes and stuff before I would like read my whole notebook for that section. And I'd usually do pretty well from that, because it would strike any memories or anything. That's why I jotted down, anything I thought was important. That's just how I learned. But yeah, I can't remember which teacher it was. I could see her face, but I can't remember her name. It was one of my teachers, though. She did not like me taking notes because she didn't, and she would be all, "You can put your notebook away." I'd be like, "I know." She used to get sad with me. It was funny.
so where did they go to lunch then? What building did they go to have lunch?
It was right. So let's see. The main building there, they had a lunch area right next door. The main building, when you walked in, right next to it, there was an add-on spot. There was actually a little lunchroom off to if you were walking up to it, had been on the right side of the building, towards the gym and all that stuff. They had a little lunchroom
Oh,
there.
so they built something onto the school then.
Yeah, they must have if it wasn't there before.
Yeah.
It looked like
So
it could have been an add-on. I mean,
yeah, because when I was there, now I can't remember at first where we went, but then there was a building that was in front of the school. So when you come in, there was the old hospital area, right?
mm-hmm.
And then there was a building
Yep,
that kind
yep,
of set right between the hospital and the school. There's a building right there. And so some kind of way we ended up
yeah.
the school end up getting that building. And so we used to start going. We didn't go there at first, but I think it's like the second year I was there or something. Then we started going into that building there for lunch. So they changed that. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why I like. That's why I like doing it, to see what all the changes that happened between the different years
Yeah.
of being there. What all the kids. Now behind the school, did they do anything with that, or is that just still just a big open field in the back?
It was a big open field. That's where the football team practiced and stuff back there, and did scrimmage games and all that behind that big open field behind the school. I want to say they had some goalposts and stuff back there too. They actually set it up for that.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Well,
pretty
see.
sure.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
I mean, it's been 30 years, so I can't say for sure, but I believe they might have had some goalposts back there too. But I know that the teams practice back there, the football team for sure.
mhm. Okay. And let me just let the watchers or the listeners or whoever's watching, I see a few people there looking because they're used to me being on here, and it has something to do with either my ministry or either my music group with my comedians, the singer and the rapper. But today, this is, if you see in the corner, it says the
Think you froze
Military
up, man.
Chronicles. Military Brat Chronicles. So I'm just talking to some old people that used to go to the old high school over there in Germany, just checking it out, just chopping it up with some folks just to see what's going on. All right. So now, what grade did you, when you left BK, what grade were you in?
Um, I was just getting ready to start 11th grade. I was in 11th grade when I left.
Okay.
So I was
So now,
junior.
yeah, you're junior. So what did you end up going to after y'all left BK?
After we left BK, we went to Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay. And that's where you graduated?
No, I ended up leaving Kansas City, and I just went and took my GED. I ended up moving back to Colorado. I didn't care for the school I went to. I looked a little different when I went there because when I was in Germany, I was a bit of a punk, so I had like some different colors in my hair. I already had some tattoos. I had both of my ears pierced. And when I showed up in Missouri that way, yeah, I got my ass handed to me every day of the week, dude. If I walked
Wow.
into a bathroom, five jocks were walking in behind me to beat the shit out of me,
Wow.
so that's how it went the whole time I was there. And every time that happened, I would get suspended for causing trouble,
Mm,
and they always sided with the jocks. And I hated that school with a passion. And what the last straw was, what's funny after all that, the mistreatment and stuff I got from the school and the suspensions and stuff for getting beat up. um, I took this creative writing class, and I wrote some stories and some poems and things, and I got recognized by this program called Who's Who in America, and they gave me a scholarship, or they wanted to give me a scholarship. And when they came to present the scholarship and stuff, I had to get together with them and the principals and all that. And the principals, straight up told them that they had to take me under their wing, and they really helped me transform my transition and stuff, and all this stuff, trying to take credit for how well I was doing on paper. And I
mm,
just let them have it. I was like, you know what? I was like, no, they didn't. I was like, this is what they did, and this is what they're doing. And in front of God and everybody, I literally just went off on them in front of the people that were bringing me the scholarship. And I asked them, I said, look, I said, is this scholarship, can I take this scholarship to Colorado? And they said, no, it's only good in Missouri. And I told them, I said, I really hate Missouri, and I'm not going to school here. So you can keep your scholarship. I told the principal, you could take this school and shove it. I cleared all the stuff off his desk, swept it on the floor, quit
wow.
school that day, went home, packed my crap, and came here to Colorado about 3 days later. And I've been here since '86. This is where
Wow.
I'm from. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
just went home, and when I tried to get into school here, um, they uh, they told me to go back where I came from, basically, because I was already 18. They didn't, and I was pretty wild looking and and all that stuff, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't want you here." And so I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Okay." So I just went down, took my GED like the next week,
Mhm.
got my GED, and said, "All right, now this is happening. Now I start life." So that's kind of how it went down.
So how did you? So I like you
Sorry for
said,
rambling.
no, no, you good. That's good. So now like you said, you're into music and all that kind of good stuff. So then, how did all that come about?
I just always liked music all my life. I was a big Elvis Presley fan when I was little, so I guess he kind of started it all. My parents actually took me to see Elvis when I was a little kid, man. 1971, 71. Yeah, I think I seen Elvis in 71, 72 ish. Must have
Mhm.
been 3 or 4 years old. I actually still remember the show somewhat, uh, even though it was almost 50 years ago. Hard to believe. But yeah, so that kind of kicked it off. And then from there, I've always been one of those. I haven't been like a big go out to the playground kind of kid when I was growing up. I was a little more of a sit home and read comics geek and listen to music. So it's always just kind of been in my blood, I think.
Okay. So like I said, so then how did you turn that into what you're doing now, or how did you get into it from getting your GED and moving to Colorado? So how did you get into that music scene there?
So so actually, I just when I moved to Colorado, I didn't get into the music scene for quite a while. Actually, I got a little more into advocacy and stuff. I joined a group called. Do you know who Normal is?
Nah, what's that?
They're a marijuana advocate group.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So I got in with them when I moved here, and a lot of my friends were into that type of thing, and we did like the hemp and marijuana rallies back then, back in the '80s. We used to sponsor those and put those together and have speakers do the thing, and try to get, we had the ballots to get it on the get people to registered voters to sign to get the medical marijuana on the ballot and stuff. and I got really active in that. And actually, we ended up in 2000, I think it was 2002. It made it on the ballot. Here in 2003, it actually passed, and so by doing so back then, it actually created a job for me because that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years. I run a medical marijuana center that does the. I run the doctor's office that does the examination to allow you to get the medical license. What I do for a living. That's what I've done for the last 10 years.
Okay.
And
Yeah, man, I know.
so I'm pretty connected that way because I've certified probably, I don't know. Let me see. I've been doing that roughly. It was 50. Probably people I've certified since I've been doing as a roughly,
Okay. All right. So
but
then
yeah. So
how did
that's
you
that I do
so
now, and I ended up getting into the band thing
okay.
in the 19. Played and ended up getting into a band, and I started their equipment and stuff, and them with shows. And then I ended up with a couple other bands helping them out. And then next thing you know, I was booking shows and traveling and selling merch and ordering merch and doing the books and and making sure nothing got lost while we were out of town, and making sure everything was accounted for, and crawling around on the stage with a flashlight in my mouth while they're playing if something broke to get it fixed and keep the show going. The show must go on type situation.
Right.
And did that for quite a while. I did that for pretty much full time from '99 to 2008. So about 9 years I did that. Pretty much, that's pretty much what I did. I had a lot of bands that I used to help. So, I mean, but I struggled, I mean, trying to do that with local bands and stuff. You make a little, but you don't make. You have to take on a lot of bands to make a living, So.
Yeah.
Just there was a lot of really good raw talent, and I thought that possibly, that one of them might hit it, with enough promotion, enough exposure. So, I mean, we did give it the try with a couple of them, and we put forth a lot of effort. But of course, I'm not doing that no more. So obviously, it didn't pan out the way I wanted it to.
I know I've done a little of that myself. So I've done some commercial. I'm not commercial. I've done some concert promoting. When did I start? I was stationed at Fort Sill, Oklahoma at the time, so that was '88. So yeah, so around from like '88 all the way up until the '90s, '95. So I've been doing like concert, comedy shows, plays, all that stuff off and on for
Oh,
all that
nice.
time. So yeah, I know the feeling, man. When it's good, it's good, and when it's bad, it's bad. So you know, I've had times when
You mainly just run production, or was you just setting everything up,
well, yeah, I was just
or
doing,
getting everything booked and ready?
yeah, I was just doing strictly promotion. So so
Just promotion,
yeah,
yeah, and
yeah,
set and
strictly
book.
promotion with a few, like I said, management of bands, like I said, some bands and some people here and there. But like I said, with local, it really never kicked off. And then I was messing with younger people, and they get the big
Oh,
head when
you're
they
kind of
do.
breaking up, man. You might have to repeat what you just said.
All right, so yeah, so I also managed a couple of bands, and the problem with that is like we would get them to open up for a national group when a concert came to town, and then they would get the big head
Hold
to
on,
think they made
you're
it.
breaking up on my end, man.
Oh no, man, I'm sorry about that. It was going real good there for a little bit. Is it still breaking up?
Oh, there you are.
Okay. All right. So yeah, yeah, man. So like you said, just local bands, like you said, man. Sometimes those guys like they have the talent, but a lot of ones that I mess with, they got the big head off of doing one concert with a national artist, and they thought they made it. And I was like, oh,
Oh, I know how that goes, man. Yeah,
like
yeah.
crazy.
I've dealt with a little bit of that too. When their heads get too big to get them through the door, man, it gets a little
Yeah,
difficult, man.
yeah, man. Been there, done that, got the T-shirt. So yeah, I know what you're saying on that, man. So like I said, so now, right now, so you married, children, anything like that? What you got going on?
I've been happily divorced since I was in my early 20s, and and I have two children. I have a son and a daughter, both in their 30s. Daughter works with me. Son works at a manufacturing plant making uh, computer wafers, basically, for circuitry and such.
Right.
Yeah. And then, of course, me and my daughter, we run the medical marijuana evaluation center, the doctor's office here.
Okay. Cool.
So,
Cool. Cool.
so yeah, we're pretty busy. It's crazy how many people, a lot of people moving here too. So, I mean, that's I see probably uh, in the last 10 years that I've been doing that, I probably see 15 to 20 people a week that have been here for less than 3 months. I mean, people just coming in droves. I know I watched Colorado Springs when I moved here in '86. It was about one third of the size that it is now, with about one quarter of the population we have right now.
Mm. Wow. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
this place is it's insane how much it's grown.
And what's so crazy, after I talked to you yesterday, I talked to another guy that he lives right there in Colorado Springs too. He went to
Oh, that's
BK.
funny.
He went to BK in '93 and '94 because when he called back and I saw 719, I was like, wait a minute, I just talked to somebody in the 719. And so yeah, I said, so both of y'all live right there in Colorado Springs. All right, so man,
Oh,
tell
that's
me
funny. I'm
what.
not surprised though, because we have 5 military bases here.
Right, 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 exactly. Matter of fact, I think of
I mean, most of them are Air Force, but we do have Fort Carson. It's the Army.
yeah, right, right. Well, I tell you what, man, we get ready about call it quits. So, what would you like to tell all the BKers out there, man?
Hey, man, I think if you guys end up doing another reunion, find me on Facebook because I want to try to make this one. That's how I got in touch with some of these BKers and stuff. A while back, they were planning a reunion, and I was actually trying to go, and I had some extenuating circumstances come up. So please, if you guys plan another one, invite me if you guys know me. Johnny Logan, uh, or I went by John Logan back then, 83, 84, 85. I used to hang out with Derek Herman a lot. So, anyways, if you know me, you can hit me up on Facebook, or if you guys do another event, please invite me. I'd love to come.
There
And
you
it's been
go.
nice talking to you and getting to know you, man. That's awesome. And
No
thanks for
problem.
inviting me, man. I had fun.
Hey,
This is actually pretty cool, man.
hey, you the first one, so you kicked off the show right there, brother.
Nice. How do I get in and watch these? Can you send me like an invite to watch some of these when you do them?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll get with you. Let me close it out and then I'll let you know exactly how to do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the first episode. We're not the first episode interviewing somebody. Usually I do it myself. But yes, I love this new format I'm doing with the Military Brat Chronicles. And we're gonna be talking to a lot of people from different, like some people from the 60s hit me up. You got the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, even somebody that was all the way up until 2000. So we're gonna have a different interview with all type of BKers from all the different years. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. So on behalf of myself and Mr. Johnny Logan, all the way up in Colorado Springs, Colorado, make sure you get your medical marijuana. Go check him out. Hey, this has been Brother
That's right.
Darwin.
Come see me at Relax Clarity, man. RelaxClarity.com. We
There you
certify
go.
within the state of Colorado.
There you go. Now let me ask you this. So once they certified in Colorado, they can't go anywhere else and use that card, can they?
No, not really. It's just within each state they usually have their own program. So our program is just within the state of Colorado.
All right, cool,
I've heard
cool.
rumor that they take our card in Arizona and in Vegas,
Oh, okay.
but I
Okay,
haven't
good.
actually tested that theory. I've just heard it from other patients that come
Right,
in.
right. All right. Well, yeah, man. It was like I said, it was fun talking to you. I appreciate you jumping on. And so this is going to end this first interview of the Military Chronicles. Until next time, y'all take care and peace.
Thanks,